mentioned something I kind of want to talk about in terms of the hobby, because obviously card shows and the hobby extremely hand in hand. But you mentioned the turnover. Now, I'm assuming you're talking about the turnover with the manufacturers, with the cards being printed. Now, I'm personally a fan of Fanatics kind of taking over, because I don't think it can get much worse. People were very excited for Panini when they took over way back in 2013, I believe it was. For someone that's been collecting since then and before, kind of give me your opinion quickly about what you see the hobby in terms of where it's going with Fanatics, and just generally speaking comparative to when like Panini kind of got the licensure and took over.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure the exact date on Panini, but they did buy out, if you remember back in the day, Fleer, Skybox, all those big ones. So it might have even been earlier than 2013, but that eliminated a lot of people's early childhood favorites between, the Skyboxes, the Fleers, and all that. I know a ton of people were collecting those. But as far as the turnover, man, you thought COVID dying out was going to be bad for the hobby, which it was in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be a little worse.
Fanatics taking over?
Yeah. Well, because it's going to, on one hand, it's going to put a premium on a lot of Panini product, because Fanatics with Topps is not going to be able to go back and print these guys like Burrow and Herberts and all the dynasty quarterbacks and, everybody that's starting right now. They're not going to be able to just reprint rookies and slap rookie shields on them. It's not going to happen. So there's going to be, in the beginning, I feel like a premium on Panini product. And then people are slowly going to transition, but I feel like we're going to get hammered with Topps product and forced to eat it.
Yeah.
And if you're a true collector, like, in your heart, deep down, you're going to be forced to buy it, even though you don't want it. We know that Topps has no interest in working with Panini. We know that Panini has no interest in working with Topps.
I mean, does Target want to work with Walmart? I mean, does Ford want to work with Chevy?
So we know these set names, the big set names that we've been used to, the Prisms, the Mosaics, everything, is not going to carry over.
Yeah.
It's not going to transition.
Topps needs to Fanatics needs to get creative and give us that Prism, that flawless and stuff like that, not just Topps Chrome.
Which, no offense, Topps has never had the flair for doing, in my opinion. Panini does, but again, everybody has their issues with Panini, as everybody has their issues with Topps. What's going to happen when Panini goes unlicensed?
Garbage.
Everybody complains about everything being unlicensed.
I think that's the direction that it goes in, that it becomes garbage. And I got a two-part question for you. One, does the old Panini boxes, like your 2022 Prisms with, Burrow, Herbert, and Tua, those like boxes, even your 2018, boxes with Mahomes rookies, 2017, do you think those kind of get grandfathered into being extremely valuable because they're obviously Panini products aren't being printed anymore? And the second part is, do you think from when Topps takes over, Fanatics takes over, whoever, do you think that veteran cards will kind of have a little bit more importance in the hobby? Because now you can actually get Joe Burrow patch autos, though they're not rookies, but they are at least Topps licensed patch autos. No, you're not going to get a rookie Joe Burrow RPA from Topps or Fanatics, but you can get this nice veteran card of his.
Well, first off, a lot of people thought that it was COVID that killed the player-worn, game-used, era of cards. It was actually, Fanatics and Panini was so bad with each other that Fanatics pulled the rights on all game-used jerseys. So Panini could only use what they had in stock, what they had left. If you remember, when we first started, everything coming out from Panini was player-worn, event-worn, whichever it was.
Even going back to like Upper Deck and early Topps with just baseball, I mean, it all was game used stuff.
Yep.
All of it.
And now, yes, the only place you will be able to get that is in Topps with the Fanatics rights. But does it put a premium on veterans? No.
It's all about rookies still.
It's still about rookies. It's always been about rookies. It's been about the what have you done for me lately? Veterans aren't hot anymore. They're not sexy anymore. Rookies are sexy. They're brand new. They're fresh. Everybody loves the rookies. The veterans, not so much. I mean, if it's Patrick Mahomes, sure. Okay. We all know the fan base he has. Huge. Rightfully so. I get it. And I have my opinions on him myself. But the guys that make a staple for themselves, and that's maybe what? 20 to 25 guys, realistically.
Talking about just across sports, or
just across football.
Oh, okay.
That are mass collected.
Yeah.
You could probably name the top 25 if you really had to.
Like legends too, retired guys.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not talking current guys.
Yeah, between
okay.
Montana, Brady,
Yeah.
Burrow, all those guys.
Yep.
It's probably 25 to 30.
Peyton Manning.
Yep. But that's the reality of it, right? Everybody else, positional players, everything, no respect, no love in the hobby.
Pump and dump, or could care less about him.
Pretty much.
I mean, it's crazy because a guy like Kyle Pitts, for instance, was so coveted back when he came out, and obviously he didn't have the early career that we wanted him to, but now he's actually having a decent season. Granted it's year 4, but no one cares. Bijan Robinson having a decent season, no one cares. Jahmyr Gibbs, good season, nobody cares because these guys aren't rookies anymore, and they're not quarterbacks. And I think that this hobby is so quarterback driven. It's sad because there's so many great other positional players. Like Aaron Donald, he just retired. Arguably the best generational defensive player we're going to see in a very long time.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Sauce Gardner had all the hype coming out of college, and he's living up to it as one of the best cornerbacks. Nobody cares.
I mean, you could even go back to guys like and this isn't even that long ago. Calvin Johnson.
No one cares.
No care.
No one.
Don't care.
Get a rookie card for not even $10 of him.
Exactly.
And granted, he had a short career, but if you elongate that career, he's probably in that conversation with Jerry Rice. If not, he might already be in the conversation with Jerry Rice.
He's already there, but I think that it kind of segues into the fact of the generational gap going on in the hobby right now, as to where I did mention COVID. COVID was a good thing for the hobby, but it did bring all the baby boomers in, and it totally changed the dynamic of the way things run, operate. More power to them. I love seeing young kids in the hobby. I really do. I love seeing the hobby expand. It's just expanding in more ways than I ever thought it was going to.
Very scientifical, the way I thought.
Yeah.
Play some dramatic music.
Well, there's so many ways now.
Yeah.
There's so many ways. Like you talk about a hype beast, the whole card game is a hype beast.
It's all pump and dump. As Ricky likes to say, buy the rumor, sell the news. Right? I always mix it up. I forget what it is. He always corrects me, but he's not here to correct me. I don't know it. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Yes, I think that's what it is.